Wow, thanks, moderator. Welcome to stream. Crazy. Thanks, Lorenzo. Wow. I'm back after like 4 weeks, 3 weeks. Ooh, it's been too long. I was so sad too because I was really wanting to come back earlier. Like, you have to trust me on this. But they kept pushing back the date when I was going to get my internet installed because I moved, obviously. This is why we're on the floor. I still haven't gotten my desk chair. So we're going to be reading on the floor for a while. At least until I find the motivation to go to IKEA and make that work. So, yeah, it's exciting. I really like my new place. I'll eventually do a tour of it. I actually have a video that I'm editing at the moment about, what's it called? Oh, about my move and like of all of the stuff that was in my apartment and all of that. It's really not that exciting, but I don't know. I guess that's for you to decide. It's not really for me to decide. But yeah, I'm free after 10,000 years. I am now finally in my new place. It's a little bit of a mess, actually. So I can't really, I don't want to do a tour of it until it's nice. So, yeah. But you can see my door that leads to my kitchen. That's about it. That's the most exciting thing about my entire apartment. And that's also a lie. But it's fine. Right? It's adorable. It's cool though because like you can't really tell, but it has like almost a weird piano like pattern on it because it's got these cutouts, but it's got like these little indents where like it would be the sharps on the piano. But I like it. I'm thinking about painting it though. Not piano like, but I'm thinking about painting it a different color because the finish on it just isn't very good. So I don't know. I have a color scheme in mind because I've been talking to my friends who are visual people because I'm not a visual person, and I wanted to see like what's a good idea for my color scheme. And I've been like researching interior design, and it's too much. It's too much at the moment. What is going on? Okay. Anyway, so I was thinking about what to do today because I am color scheming. I was thinking about what to do today because I didn't know 100% how to go about this because it's been so long. I didn't think it was going to be more than 2 weeks, if that. And it's been almost a month. And I was thinking I should probably start over with Hamlet because black paint, silver stars, white stars, navy paint. I'm not gonna do that. I can't reasonably do that. And then, I don't know. I was gonna say I'm an adult, but at the same time, it's like, hell yeah, I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. But also, I don't know if I want that. It seems like a lot. It seems visually very stimulating. So, I was thinking I should start Hamlet over. So, I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do for now, is just do it again. Because, like, I don't fully remember what's happening. You don't fully remember what's happening. I know we've been through this. But I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think we should start over? Like fresh start Hamlet style? Do you want to even start over? Do you even want to finish Hamlet? Do you want to do a new one? What do you guys want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know. I feel kind of guilty about Hamlet because you wouldn't mind a restart, Lorenzo? What about you, Tajokos? How do you feel about a restart? My cousin here doesn't mind a restart. But he doesn't have any opinions as a photo. It's fine. I heard that in Australia you don't really have that either. So I have a friend I had a coworker from Australia at my last school, And we were talking about this because so this photo is a photo of my cousin, and they take photos every year at schools. And then you just like send them to your family members. Thanks to Jokos. But no, you like send photos of yourself or of your child to all of your family members, and it's just like a normal thing. But I find it so funny because I remember when I told my Australian friend about this, and I showed him this picture because I was like, oh yeah, I just got a picture of my cousin. And he's like, what? He thought it was an omelet with bacon. Please. Honestly, Lorenzo, that was a pretty good one. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Well, I'm going to get started with it. I'm going to start over. And hopefully it's as badass as it was before. We'll get through it. I know, Tajokos. Right. The Pun Kings are back. And they're ready. And it's whack. Here we go. In the streets. That's right. You right, Lorenzo. Okay. Let's go. So we start in Act 1. It's Scene 1 in Elsinore. It's a platform before the castle. Okay. So we're in front of the castle that Hamlet lives at. I feel slightly more... I feel clarity now that I've read this before. It's okay, Tajokos. I'm sorry. Okay. Francisco is at his post. Francisco is what is he? He's a soldier. He's just standing there. And Bernardo is an officer. He's an officer. Okay, so Bernardo says, who's there? And Francisco says, nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself. Bernardo says, long live the king. I think they say that in Lion King too, if I'm honest though. Long. But Scar says that. He's like holding Scar and he's like, long live the king. And then he goes, ah. And then Simba's like, ah. You know? So, anyway. And Francisco says, Bernardo. And Bernardo says, hey. Francisco, you come most carefully upon your hour. Bernardo. 'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco. Francisco, for this relief much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart. Bernardo, have you had quiet guard? Francisco, not a mouse is stirring. Bernardo, well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste. Francisco, I think I hear them. Stand ho, who is there? No spoilers. Sorry, Lorenzo. I'm not trying to spoil it. Oh, here, hold on. I should probably put in the stream title that I'm streaming Hamlet. Hold up. I didn't realize that. Welcome back. Celebratory Hamlet reading. Hamlet reading. Hamlet. Nice. Okay. Exactly like in The Lion King. I know! I do a pretty damn good Scar impression. I just need a scar that like goes down my eye. That would be pretty dope. Okay. So Horatio and Marcellus come in. Speak of the devils. Man, if anything, Bernardo is the one handing out spoilers, Lorenzo. Like, I wonder if Horatio and Marcellus are gonna come. And then they just wander in. Thanks, Bernardo. Anyway, Horatio and Marcellus enter. And Horatio says, friends to this ground. And Marcellus says, and liegemen to the Dane. Francisco? Yeah, Francisco says, give you good night. Marcellus, oh, farewell, honest soldier, who hath relieved you? And Francisco says, Bernardo hath my place, give you good night. Marcellus, holla, Bernardo! It deadass says holla. I'm sure I noticed this before, but it says Holla, and that kills me. Oh my god, that's so dumb. And Bernardo says, oh, okay. So Francisco exits after he says, give you good night. So Francisco was just like, yeah, he was standing guard. He was dismissed by Bernardo. Marcellus and Horatio also come in, and they're like, what's up, bro? And Bernardo's like, say. These are also soldiers, by the way. What, is Horatio there? And Horatio says, a piece of him. And Bernardo says, welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus. Deus ex Bernardo. Yeah, legit, honestly. So Bernardo's like, welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus. He's like, what's up, my bros? Hello, we hanging. It's the time to hang. What a good evening. And Marcellus says, what? Has this thing appeared again tonight? And Bernardo says, I have seen nothing. So they're talking about this thing that they've seen in the middle of the night, and they're not saying what it is. But I mean, since we kind of know, because we kind of read it a little bit ago, I think we know what we're talking about. But it's gonna appear in a second, so it's okay. And Marcellus says, what is it? Is it Marcellus or Marcellus? No, they're in Denmark. I'm gonna guess it's Marcellus. Marcellus says, Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him. Touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us, therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it. And Horatio says, tush, tush, 'twill not appear. And Bernardo says, sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears, that are so fortified against our story, that we have 2 nights seen. Okay, so Bernardo's like, Marcellus, or wait, no, Bernardo's like, yo, Horatio, get in on this. It's gonna happen. And let me tell you a story about what just happened for the past couple of days. Yes, Marcellus Wallace, exactly. Anyway, well, I didn't know if it was Italian, because if it was Italian, it would be Marcellus, or Marcellus, which a lot of these plays take place in like an Italian area. I don't know what's with Shakespeare in Italy, probably something fishy, but anyway. So yeah, Bernardo's like, let me tell you something. And Horatio's like, well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this last night of all. What did they see? A Chinese weather balloon? For real? Oh my God, Lorenzo, that's such a dumb story. I love it so much. It's so stupid. Okay. So yeah, Horatio's like, let Bernardo tell the story. And Bernardo says, last night of all, when yon same star that westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven, where now it burns, Marcellus and myself the ball then beating one. And then a ghost comes in. This is the ghost entering. And then Marcellus says, peace, break thee off. Look where it comes again. And Bernardo says, in the same figure like the king that's dead. So they're like, it's a thing that kind of looks like the dead king who just died, who reigned in this castle. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Sorry. It's like possessed by the dead king, who is Macbeth's father. Okay. And then Marcellus said, peace, break thee off. Look where it comes again. Bernardo, in the same figure like the king that's dead. Marcellus, thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio. Bernardo, looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio. Horatio, most like it harrows me with fear and wonder. Bernardo, it would be spoke to. Marcellus, question it, Horatio. And then Horatio, what art thou, that usurpest this time of night together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak! So Horatio's like trying to ask the ghost questions. He's just like, why are you here? Why are you disturbing the people? Why? And Marcellus is like, whoa, bro, you're getting too personal with these questions. Maybe start with like, what's your favorite color? And Bernardo's like, see, it stalks away. It's bored of you, Horatio. Stop asking so many questions. Horatio's like, stay, speak, I charge thee, speak. And the ghost exits. He's just like, ooh, bye. He ghosts them in true ghostly fashion. Wow. He must be very popular on Tinder. Anyway, Marcellus, 'tis gone and will not answer. Bernardo. Oh no, brown cow, Horatio. You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it? And Horatio says, before my God, I might not this believe without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes. And Marcellus says, is it not like the king? Horatio. As thou art to thyself, such was the very armour he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in an angry parley he smote the sledded Polacks on the ice. 'Tis strange. And the chat goes wild at the how now, brown cow. Okay. So yeah, Marcellus is just like, doesn't that look like the king, pretty much? And Horatio's like, yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Marcellus is like, thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour with martial stock. Hath he gone by our watch? So they're like, he's not even trying to hide it. He's just trying to go about his business, but also he's a little sneaky little guy. And Horatio says, in what particular thought to work I know not. But in this gross in scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our estate. And Marcellus says, good now. Sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon, and foreign mart for implements of war, why such impress of shipwrights, whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week, what might be toward, that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint labourer with the day? Who is it that can inform me? And Horatio says, that can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride. Strap yourself in, dudes. This is a long monologue. Monologue time. Dared to the combat in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our own world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact well ratified by law and heraldry did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror, against the which a moiety competent was gauged. I thought it said gagged, and I was like, monolong, yeah, for real, dude. Was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras. Had he been vanquisher, as by the same covenant and courage of the courage. I don't know why I said that. Oh my god. Okay. Strange thing. But I don't know if you've ever seen Sleeping Beauty, the movie, the Disney movie Sleeping Beauty, but let me just say, okay? The dude who plays Prince Charming says carrots in the worst, like in the most random way. He says carrots. He doesn't say carrots, he just says carrots. And it's so strange, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's nuts. It's nuts. Anyway, and carriage. Of the article designed it. Like, it bothered me throughout my entire childhood, too, because I remember every time I would watch that, I was like, who says carrots like that? I don't even remember watching, because I used to watch a lot of old movies when I was a kid, and watching all of these old actors from old Hollywood, I don't remember any of them saying carrots. You know what I mean? It's so weird, because, I mean, they had a New England accent, these actors that were coming out, because, I mean, they speak a little bit differently than people with just traditional Midwestern accents now. Midwestern accents are the closest thing that we have to, like, a neutral English accent in the U.S. And so It's just interesting to me to hear that because the New England accent used to be, the Midwestern accent is the New England accent. So, I don't know, it's just interesting to me. And carriage of the article designed. He fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras of unimproved metal hot and full hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes. For food and diet to some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, which is no other, as it doth well appear unto our state, but to recover us by strong hand in terms compulsatory. Those foresaid lands so by his father lost, and this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and roamage of this land. Okay. So they're bragging about Hamlet right now. My folks always brag about that. Always brag about what? I don't know what you're talking about, Jojokos, but you're going to have to tell me. No, so Horatio is basically talking about the history of Hamlet. But the thing is, he's not talking about Hamlet, our main character. He's talking about Hamlet, who is Hamlet's dad. Hamlet Sr., the Midwestern accent thing. Ah, man, the thing about the Midwestern accent, I really don't like it that much. And I think it's very unattractive. I know it's very neutral, and to some people, it's not bad. But I would say it's a very nasal accent. And so a lot of the people that you're talking to, they have very bright vowels. And yes, it's very easy to understand, especially, if you're Midwestern and you're articulate, meaning you articulate your words well, not you have a big vocabulary. If you articulate well, then I guess it's okay. But it sounds, I don't know, to me it sounds horrendous. But I think everyone kind of thinks of their own accent that way a little bit. They're like, oh yeah, my accent's not that beautiful. Unless people have their own beautiful voice. There are some people who have nice voices, but I don't know, the Midwestern accent, man, it's not cool. It's not that good to have. Okay. Bernardo chimes in. So yeah, okay, hold up. Horatio's talking about all of this stuff that Hamlet Sr. did. Midwest as in Minnesota? To Jokos, I also have a Midwestern accent. I'm from the Midwest. I've lived all over the Midwest. Not Minnesota, though, Lorenzo. Midwest is Minnesota. That's the best comment ever. No, so, Chicago is in there, but Chicago has its own accent, but Chicago is technically part of the Midwest. So, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, Iowa is technically part of the Midwest. Just, that kind of area. So, yeah. Alright. So, yeah. The king, did some stuff and all of that. And it was great. Moving on. Bernardo. I think it be no other, but even so. Well, may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king that was and is the question of these wars. So Bernardo's just like, well, I hope that this dude who keeps trespassing brings a gun next time because I'm about to shoot him down. And Horatio's like, a mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the grave stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood. Disasters in the sun and the moist star upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse, and even the like precurse of feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates and prologue to the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. This is just reminding me that I have not read out loud in such a long time. Anyway, the ghost comes back and he goes, he unghosts the group. And then anyway, so Horatio comes back in and says, "But soft, behold! Lo, where it comes again, I'll cross it, though it blast me, stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee be due, that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me if thou art privy to the country's fate, which happily, for knowing, may avoid. Oh, speak! Or if thou hast abhorred it in thy life, extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which, they say, you spirits oft walk in death. Speak of it, stay and speak. And the cock crows. Caw! Stop it, Marcellus. I would love it if the what's it called? If the rooster's name was also Marcellus. Going unghost. Yeah, for real, right? Yeah, classic ghost quotes. I agree. Ooh. Anyway, so I would love it if Marcellus was also the name of the rooster, and he was just like, "Rooster, stop crowing." Anyway, and Marcellus says, "Shall I strike at it with my partisan?" And Horatio says, "Do, if it will not stand." And Bernardo says, "'Tis here." And Horatio says, "'Tis here." And Marcellus says, "'Tis gone." And the ghost ghosts them again. He unghosts the unghosting. Get double unghosted, fools. Which means you are ghosted. So, yeah, they were just like, "Okay, speak to me, ghost." And then the ghost didn't say anything. And they were like, "We're gonna attack the ghost." And then the ghost disappeared. In true ghostly fashion. And Marcellus says, "We do it wrong, being so majestical to offer it the show of violence, for it is, as the air, invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious mockery." Marcellus is like, "Oh, wow. You know, we're idiots because we're trying to kill a thing that's dead." Deuces the ghost. Real. Bernardo, it was about to speak when the cock crew. I didn't know that the past tense of crow was crew. I thought it was crowed. You learn something new every day. When the cock crew. Hey, crew. The cock crew. Let's go. It just doesn't flow right. I don't know. And Horatio says, "And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock, that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with this lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of day, and at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in air or in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine, and of the truth therein this present object made probation." And Marcellus says, "It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever against that season comes wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated." Thanks, baby Jesus. "It used to flew when the cock crew." You're right, Lorenzo, you're right. Anyway, baby Jesus' birth is celebrated. The bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then they say no spirit dare stir abroad. The nights are wholesome, then no planets strike. Oh, no fairy takes nor witch hath power to charm, so hallowed and so gracious is the time. Horatio. "So have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle clad walks over the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, a.k.a. Hamlet Jr. For upon my life this spirit dumb to us will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves, fitting our duty?" And Marcellus says, "Let's do it. I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently." So Horatio's like, "Can we tell Hamlet?" And Marcellus is like, "Hell yeah, we telling Hamlet right now." And that's the end of scene 1, and now we're on to scene 2. Hey yo, not act 1, but act. Yes, we are in act 1, but we're staying in act 1. I just wanted to clarify. I don't know. Everyone exulted. I forgot to say that everyone exumed. Sorry. Anyway, scene 2. It's a room of state in the castle. What state? It's Minnesota. It's this Minnesota room of the castle. That's not what that means. But still, I'm going to say it. And then they flourish. And the king comes in, and the queen comes in, and the Hamlet comes in, and the Polonius comes in, and Laertes, and Voltimand, and Cornelius, and the lords and attendants, they're flourishing. Okay? There are a lot of Dutch folks in Minnesota. Are there? What about Danes? Are there a lot of Danes there? What's up, punk? Welcome back! I mean, welcome back to me too, but like, welcome back to you too for coming in here. Man. Okay. Well, there you go. There's at least one Dutch in Minnesota. Anyway, so everyone's flourishing, and the king has like this, he has this long-winded, nobody wants to hear it monologue. Okay, so you have to remember this king, right? His name is Claudius, which is a pretty cool name. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a pretty dope name. And Claudius is Hamlet's uncle. So Hamlet's uncle took over the throne for Hamlet's dad, Hamlet Sr. This Hamlet is Hamlet Jr. Remember. Can you remember that Hamlet is Hamlet Jr. and he's related and the son of Hamlet Sr. But he's the nephew of Cornelius. Anyway. I'm surprised how well that rhymed. Remember and junior and senior. But I mean, Cornelius broke it, but it doesn't have to rhyme at the end of that. Remember. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the Dutch discovering Australia. Lorenzo, yes! Wait, is it a colonization story? Because colonization stories are pretty depressing. But honestly, like, it's whatever. Go ham in chat. Go ham lit in chat. That's what, actually, fun fact. Okay, if it's not a colonization story, great. If it's just a story, that's also fine too. Fun fact. When people say go ham, they're referring to Hamlet because people would ham it up, aka like go really dramatic whenever they would play Hamlet. So that's where that comes from. Okay. Anyway, King is Hamlet's unkie. Okay, Unkie Cornelius is about to give this really long speech about how he's super excited to be king. What's up, Light? I love that fun fact too. I'm so excited to see everybody here. It makes me so happy. I'm so happy. Okay, cool. Anyway, so the king starts talking. Let's put our seatbelts on for this really long monologue. Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, this is Hamlet Sr., the memory be green, and that is us befitted, to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. One brow of woe? Does that mean he has a unibrow? Bro, can you imagine, like, you can be king of Denmark, but you must have one eyebrow. I'm dead. Or what if he just has like one eyebrow on this side and doesn't have one here? And it's just like, he constantly looks really surprised. A unibrow can be fixed. I know it can be fixed, but like, what if it was like an impenetrable unibrow? King for one eyebrow, I'd take it. I don't know. I mean, I think, well, it would also depend on the nation too, because like, I don't know. It depends. But I mean, if I was king of Denmark, yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Denmark, so you know what? I'm a hold off on my judgment. And there we go. The omnibrow. Lorenzo, okay, you gave me a little factoid. The Dutch discovered the west coast of Australia. They got off their boats and looked around and saw desert to the horizon in every direction. Does that mean that the Dutch were... This sounds like the beginning of a really good... I knew that's what was going to happen. I knew you were going to say they just left. So they just let... It's like when you go to the moon, you just like put a flag there and you're like, wow, I can't live here. The environment is just really bad. But I was here, so I'm going to just like put my flag here and then leave. Yeah, that sounds about right. But it sounds like the beginning of like a school play speech where like the kids go up and they're like, the Dutch discovered the west coast of Australia. And like one of them is dressed up as like the west coast of Australia. And then the next one goes, they got off their boats and looked around and saw desert to the horizon in every direction. And then like that kid is dressed up as a boat. But like, you get what I'm saying? It's you wrote it very well. Lorenzo, like, you should be writing kid speeches. You should get paid for that. You would kill it. I hope the plaque reads, it's too hot and everything is trying to kill me. I'm going home. Honestly, that's probably what it does say. Or it probably just says, haha, we're Dutch, we're out. Goodbye. We're Dutch, not Australian. Peace. Anyway, okay. We were just talking about the unibrow. I gotta focus. Yet so far, we're only 4 lines in. One poor kid is laying on the ground wearing khakis, acting like that. I know, right? He's wearing khakis, but like his mom couldn't find a khaki shirt, so he's wearing like a Power Rangers t-shirt. But like people are just going with it. I'm dead. That's so funny. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Okay. Okay. To be contracted in one brow of woe. I need to be serious. I need to channel my inner Cornelius. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth, in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight in dole taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all our things, now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjointed and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who impotent in bedrid. Why do they gotta bring his phallus into this, bro? Why they gotta call him impotent? Like, that seems like a really low blow, bro. Who impotent in bedrid scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein, in that the levies, the lists in full proportions, are all made out of his subject. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltmont, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty. I think the past tense of brow would be brew. I think you're right, Lorenzo. Though, I mean, it could be browed, but, which, I mean, I think that would be a modern past tense. Just like how some people would say the cock crowed. But at the same time, I don't know, because brow and crow sound different. Maybe. If we were really to go into this hypothetical situation. I think it might depend on the phonetics. Because, I don't know. What's how now, brown cow? Punk. You're so brow. You're so how clever. That's so good. Okay. Cornelius and Voltimand say in unison, and that in all things we will show our duty. Anyway, okay, so the king is like shitting on Voltimand. Who is Voltimand? He's like the son that is dedicated. He's a courtier. He's talking about how Voltimand, no, not Voltimand. He's talking about how Fortinbras got defeated, which is in Norway. And he's like, okay, well, Fortinbras, you piece of trash, you got defeated by my brother, and you need to take it like a champ, because right now you're handling yourself poorly. Okay? But I mean, how often do you use brow as a verb? Never! It's a noun! Is it a noun? Can it be a verb? Brow definition. How to brow. Brow definition and meaning. Is there one that's... Whoa, what the heck? Hold up. I just saw something that looks very strange. I just found a noun that also is used as a synonym for brow. Okay, so the definition is a movable bridge used in boarding or leaving a ship at a pier. But it can also be called a gangplank. You can understand why I was aghast. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Lorenzo. Something very strange. Yeah, bro. Can you imagine somebody talking about their eyebrows and calling them a gangplank? Even though it's technically not the technical term that's being referred to, like your eyebrows. But being like, yeah, it does come with the citizenship, Lorenzo. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I had the liberties I wish I could take the liberties that you can take as an Australian. But yeah, can you imagine just being like, yo, I need to trim my gangplank this weekend? That would sound so... I would be taken aback. Anyway. The king! Lorenzo, that's so good. Okay. King. We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. Okay, so yeah, Cornelius and Voltimand were just like, we show respect for the king, haha, and he died not for nothing. And then Voltimand and Cornelius exeunt. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? You cannot speak for reason of the Dane, or you cannot speak of reason to the Dane, and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes? So, the king is like, you're here. What you here for, bro? And Laertes is like, my dread lord, your leave and favour to return to France, from whence thou willingly. I came to Denmark to show my duty to your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again towards France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon. Laertes literally just like, I just want to go home, bro. Can I go home? I came all the way from France just to say hi because you're having a party, but like, I want to go home. And the king is like, have you your father's leave? What says Polonius? He's like, did you ask your dad first? Did you talk to Polonius, who is Laertes' father? And Polonius says, he hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go. So Polonius is just like, yeah, I told him he could go, I guess. He begged and begged and begged and begged and begged to go. You can't gang blank. Well, brows and brow are different. But you would say browsed. You wouldn't say bruised. Bruise. Yeah. I bruised the website yesterday. Yeah, he better call it Uber Lite. I know, right? I don't know. Maybe Uber is... It's giving me chills because in Korea, it's really hard to get a taxi after a certain time of day. Well, certain time of night. It's really hard to get a taxi past like 2 a.m. And so every time I think about getting a taxi, I'm just like... like anytime I think about Ubers or taxis, I just like, I'm thinking, what time is it? Can I get one? Is it possible? Anyway, so Laertes trying to peace out. I know, right? That's me in the streets. I'm just like, oh God, I can't get home. And so I'll just end up walking places. Now I can walk places easier. Like I live really close to a lot of things. So if I'm out and about really late, I can get home easily without a taxi. Anyway, so Laertes is like, Daddy, please let me go. And Polonius is like, I'll go. Once tried to get a taxi in Seoul, 6 straight up past me. One said he didn't want to take me where I wanted to go. Wasted. I know, right, Late? It's so frustrating. It's okay. I get it. I've been there. Anyway, King. Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spended at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet, my son... Wait, whoa. Oh, okay, so the king is calling Hamlet Sr. his cousin, but it is in the footnotes of the Dover Thrift Edition that cousin actually just means someone of close relation. But the fact that he's calling him his son, Hamlet Jr. anyway, is a little bit, that makes even me mad. And Hamlet says to the side, a little more than kin and less than kind. And King says, how is it that the clouds still hang on you? So the King's like, hey, Hamlet, why are you depresso espresso? And Hamlet's like, not so, my lord, I am too much in the sun. Hamlet's like, I'm actually getting over this a little bit faster than I'm comfortable with. And the Queen says, good, Hamlet! Which, let me just say, the Queen was also the same as the previous queen, because guess what? Uncle Cornelius married Hamlet's mom. Anyway, good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. So the Queen is just like, it's okay. Everybody dies. Just get over it. Which, I'm going to just say, I've been listening to a lot about death. I haven't been reading a lot about death, but like, I've been doing a lot of like meditation stuff, and it's been kind of cool, and I'm just going to say, it's interesting. Like, I don't meditate, but I would say, so like, I'm doing a lot of, like, presence stuff, and like, I know, I'm sorry, Dejokos, and like, doing a lot of, what is it? I don't remember what the word is. There's a word. It's, mindfulness. Yes, Lorenzo. Yeah, I've been practicing a lot of mindfulness, because I've just been trying to like, I don't know. It's been working though, and I really like it. And I find myself being able to kind of ease my way through it a lot and just kind of getting there. Because meditation for me has never really been, I've never really been very good at it, and I'm not good at like really centering myself when it comes to just like sitting in silence. Because I have a very chaotic brain. But I would also say that I don't want to empty it. I want to be able to just make sure there's not a lot of trash floating in it, you know? And like trying to stay positive and put out positive energy. That's something I've been working on a lot over the past month. And that's pretty exciting for me because I don't know, it's very exciting. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that I'm able to just have these positive vibes. And anyway, we're getting off track. Hamlet's mom is being terrible, okay? She's being so inconsiderate, and she's just like, Hamlet, get over it, it's death, okay? And Hamlet's like, aye, madam, it is common, right? How common is it? It's everybody. And Queen says, if it be, why seems it so particular with thee? God, she's so insensitive. Hamlet says, seems, madam, nay, it is, I know, not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behaviour of the visage. Together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly, these indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe. Oh, thank you, Light. I try to make these tragedies a little lighthearted, you know? Because, I mean, also, you gotta keep in mind, too, that, like, with everything, even, like, really, really sad stuff, right? It's not constant, just terribleness, right? There's still laughter and good stuff sprinkled in between it. So it's funny to me because whenever I read tragedies or whenever I see movies where it's just like sad, I'm like, it's also an unrealistic representation of life. Because, you know, you have comedies and people are like, oh, I like dramas because dramas are more realistic. But it's really about finding that balance, right? Because there are good things and bad things that happen, even when life is being dramatic. So, anyway, King. 'Tis sweet and commendable in your name. Oh, yeah. So Hamlet's just like, yeah, I'm in a terrible mood. It's really horrible. And I really am not happy. And, you know, it's my father. I only have one father. And that's it. And I don't want to pretend that I'm okay. Anyway, so the king says, 'tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know. Your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief, it shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason, most absurd, those common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course till he that died today. This must be so. We pray you throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart towards you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son. So the king is just like, look, I understand that you're mourning your father. And I mean, I guess in a way this is kind of nice. It's a nice way of putting it, but at the same time it's a little bit insensitive considering he's saying, you know, can you hurry up this mourning process because it's taking too long. But anyway, so he's basically saying, like, your father lost a father, and your father's father lost a father, and everyone has lost a father. And so you have to keep in mind that we've all gone through this mourning process, but at the same time you have to understand that this loss is a very common thing. But I also want you to kind of look at me as your new father. Like, the king is your father, and you are next to succeed after me, after I die, right? And so, I don't know why I'm so congested all of a sudden. But he's basically just like, look, it's okay to mourn, but it seems silly and naive to do so. Which is a little bit sad, because he's not giving Hamlet the ability to mourn in his own time and to be able to experience these emotions. But, I mean, at the same time, you know, he's our villain, so I mean, of course we're not supposed to really feel for what Cornelius is saying, right? But anyway, the queen says, let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg. And Hamlet says, I shall in all my best obey you, madam. King says, why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, and grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the king's rouse the heaven shall brew it again, re-speaking earthly thunder. Come away! And they flourish, and they all exit except for Hamlet. Okay. So the king is just like, Hamlet, we want you to stay. We don't want you to go to school where you've been going to school for like a really long time. We want you to stay with us. We want you to be here where you're loved and you feel comfortable. And he's like, I don't know if I should do that, but I guess I can do that. And he's like, oh, great. And his mom is like, oh, great, thank you for staying with me. Which I think is also like an undercurrent of, please don't leave me alone with this man. I don't actually like him that much. And Hamlet says, okay, so everybody exits except for Hamlet, right? And Hamlet says, oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to be all the uses of this world. Fie on it, ah, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed things rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2, so excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly, heaven and earth must I remember, why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it had fed on. And yet within a month, let me not think on it, frailty, thy name is woman, a little month, and ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, and no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets! It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. So, Hamlet's just upset. This is where we're going to stop, by the way. Hamlet's upset. Because Hamlet's just like, I can't believe that my mother just like really rushed this. She rushed herself into this marriage. She didn't give it time. She didn't have time to mourn. She didn't have time really to do anything. And now here we are. And it is a little bit depressing, right? Because it seems that she actually loved Hamlet Sr. and she did really enjoy his company. I don't know if that's just because Hamlet Jr. is kind of speaking from a
oh, my parents are supposed to be together, and now that my father's dead, nothing is right. Because I'm sure there was also like some kind of an arrangement. Because let's be real here, it's royalty. And royals don't really do the whole marrying for love thing most of the time. At least they didn't used to. And so, no, I mean, I get it. I get how he's kind of really upset by it. And he's just like, it took less than a month for her to mourn and then marry my uncle. Which again, I mean, and I know I talked about this last time, I think. But, she needs a husband to stay alive. She needs a husband to have the basic necessities. And I guess in order to maintain the same kind of standard for life that she has now, she would have to marry the King of Denmark. So, I don't know. But that's it. We're done today. Oh, I'm so happy to be back. This is so good. This was so good. I'm so happy. This was so nice. So, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad to see you all again. I'm so happy you all are here. It makes me happy. I was really worried I wasn't going to see some of you because I really do enjoy interacting with you and being able to talk to you and have kind of this back and forth, because it really makes things more exciting. And it's nice that also like you enjoy it and you have enthusiasm for what we're doing. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. I won't be able to stream on Wednesdays now because I'm teaching very, very late on Wednesdays, but we're gonna make it to where it's a more reasonable schedule for what I'm doing right now. So, okay. I will talk to you soon. I hope you have the best of times. Have a good day, a good night, or a good afternoon, or good evening. Oh, so my streams are saved on my YouTube channel. So I have my YouTube channel linked to my, what is it? I have my YouTube channel linked in the description, or not in my description, in my bio. So if you want to go to the YouTube channel, you can watch all of the streams. They're all saved exactly like this. So no problem at all. I've tried saving them to my channel, but for some reason Twitch is just like not letting me do it. It used to do it, but it doesn't do it anymore. So yeah, feel free to do that. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.